Lorer, and this is Lit Happens, your celebration of the literary arts here in Saskatchewan. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome our guest, Donna Garrier. Now, Donna is a retired speech-language pathologist with a background in classical opera. She's an animal lover and an advocate against violence. She has overcome great obstacles to be a writer and is here today to tell us about her story and her book, Eggs on the Wall for the Love of Family. Donna Jean, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I haven't had you on the show before. This is your first book. Why don't you start a little further back and tell us what got into you that made you want to write?
Oh, well, I never believed I would ever write a book, but I was encouraged to write this story from a friend of mine in Los Angeles, California. And I told her she was crazy. And we had a friend in common, Della Reese-Lett, the singer and the star of Touched by an Angel. So I said to my friend Annabelle that we would go and have a session, and this minister of Della's would tell me that I'm not writing the book. So I told him my story, and he interrupted. He said, "You write your book." So I started to write, and it's a story about the care of my parents. I'm an only child. I grew up in a little prairie town, and I lived in Toronto, and I had a thriving career in singing and in speech. And I got a call one day from home care that my father had had a stroke. He was looking after my mother. And the long and the short of it is that I flew home the next day, and home care was going to pull out because their care had passed the mandate. So their choice was either myself to come home and look after them, or they would be placed in a nursing home, and I did not want that. So I took a leap, and friends of mine gave me their dog. And without my dog, I'd have had a hard time because I had left my hometown 30 years prior. But the stories that happened in their care, I would call Annabelle, and she'd say, "You have to write this book." So the stories go from the care of my parents. My father had Parkinson's, my mother osteoporosis. They were both in wheelchairs. And there was no hope for my dad at all from a neurologist that we had went to visit in Winnipeg. And our family doctor said, "Get down to Loma Linda. They're doing brain surgery there." So my father just thought, "That'll be great. It'll fix me up in a hurry." And we traveled to California, the dog and my mom and dad, and there was a neurologist there from New York who gave my dad a treatment, and we went to New York every 6 weeks. Through that treatment, my father was able to stand and walk. My mother passed away, and he found that he wanted to go to Europe to fulfill his dream. We did. We got arrested in Russia. They thought we were Russian spies, and that we were husband and wife. And my father was full of mischief, and he thought that was great. So it went on from there. And I guess in telling my story, how we ever did that trip, I don't know. But perseverance and belief in yourself, you can do anything. And that's what I want my readers to know, that if I can write a book, and we could do that with 2 wheelchairs to California and to Europe, anybody can do anything if you believe and take that first step to your dream. Following the book, I got the book down, and then I had a near fatal accident. And it was really through my parents' spite and spunk that I got out of the hospital, because I wasn't expected to live. I couldn't write, I couldn't walk when I got out of the hospital. And I was 3 years in rehab. And then I rewrote the book and rewrote it and rewrote it. And finally it was released, and I'm so grateful. My greatest wish is that people will hang on to their dream, because I think we all have that dream deep inside of us that we want to fulfill, but we're scared to try. And I have some dreams ahead of me, and I'm still scared to try, but I've got to take that step. And I'm just grateful to all of the angels that crossed our path, that helped us along the way.
Well, and what an accomplishment. This is not a small book. This is a big book. This is full of stories. This is full of your life. And there's so much to be proud of in taking the risk to make a dream like that come true. And you're inspiring in that you came from a small prairie town and and we're involved with opera. All these wonderful stories.
Thank you. Thank you. Virden is a little tiny town, and I had left 30 years ago, but I had my dog that was my savior, really, and a prayer, a great believer in prayer. And the first day that I was home, a friend of mine phoned and said, "Who's the Jewish lady with the beautiful dog?" And I said, "Well, they got the beautiful dog right." So, I had no friends there. And the hardest thing about it was that my parents' friends said, "Why don't you put them in a home?" And they had been so good to me, and I felt I wanted to give back just a little bit to them. So I'm very grateful I was able to receive that gift to care for them. It was a privilege, and in caring for them, it was really me who received the gift.
Well, and I think that's, I've heard that said before about people who have that great generosity of spirit, that they are cared for in caring for others. Yes. So it sounds like that's the path that you chose as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And so do you have a little piece that you'd like to read to us?
Okay, there's a little piece in the book. The title of the book is Eggs on the Wall for the Love of Family. My father had Parkinson's. My mother had died. And it was a day that was trying from the moment we got up to the moment that it was just a trying day, and I was behind on everything. My father was very, very spunky. He was excellent to care for, but this day he kept sliding down in his chair. And I lifted him up about 20 times through the day. So I said to him, "Dad, please don't slide down again because I can't pick you up." He was heavy. So my dog was beside him. And I thought, he slowed down again. I thought, oh no. And I went to put a glass of milk in the fridge, and I saw a row of eggs. And I thought, prior to this, I said, I can't get after him. He's my dad. What am I going to do? But I was so frustrated, and I was so tired. And I took 6 eggs, and I threw them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right against the wall. And I went over to him, and as the eggs went against the wall, my dog's head and Samuel's head turned in sync. And I said to my father, "Dad, I'm sitting you up, but this is what I've had to do to keep my sanity. Now what do you think of that?" He looked up at me and he said, "I think you don't care about the price of eggs."
Oh, what a delight. It sounds like the choices that you made, the risks that you took to make your dreams came true were good choices. And, that's all the time we have for today. Now, just before we finish, can you tell us where you can find your book?
Thank you. The book is for sale at Indigo in Saskatoon, Balboa Press, which is my publisher, and Amazon. And I just thank you for the opportunity to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Gift.
Thank you so much, Donna Jean. I'm Danica Lorer, and this has been Lit Happens. You can find past episodes by going to Shaw TV Saskatoon on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook or Twitter, and if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can contact me at danicalorer@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.